we as Europeans would never accept a situation when hostile aircraft or drone could enter our airspace undetected for days. But today, coordinated narrative operations can move through our information environment, shape perceptions, and influence political outcomes, and influence our political defense readiness without triggering any comparable alert or response.
We also can do it in the middle, please. Can you join me here?
Thank you.
So, Commissioner Kalidas, you listened to this key finding. So, what's your take on this?
Well, very impressive. Not only presentation, but really, I got in advance, some written, information. And I was very much impressed because it answers some very important questions for my job and for my mission. Because my mission speaks about the need for development of European defense readiness. And I was always saying that in my view, defense readiness has three pillars. One is what I call material defense readiness. It means financial resources, production, weapons, and so on. Another second one, institutional defense readiness, how we are organizing ourselves, especially if Americans are shifting towards Indo-Pacific, European pillar of NATO, and so on and so on. And the third one, I was always saying that this is what I call political defense readiness. Because you can have weapons, but you can lose political will to use the weapons for your defense, in general. And my view always was that exactly Russians are targeting this political will, this political defense readiness with all their hybrid warfare means. Gerasimov doctrine, very clear language, very clear statements from their side that it's easier, to occupy hearts and minds of the people than to occupy territory. If you're occupying, hearts and minds, so, it's that maybe you don't need even to occupy territory, and to mobilize algorithm is easier than to mobilize armies. So, that's what, in some way, I knew before that, But now what I saw is this very impressive, really, research and results of the research. It's a question, which, first of all, raises some kind of strategic question, how we conceptualize or how we understand security, and where our understanding of security does not matches anymore reality which we are facing. So, it's, I will not repeat all the examples which we have seen recently with, Romania, Moldova, now we saw, in Lithuania, the famous military camp, Kapčiamiesty's story, when suddenly it appeared that, when the government decided to establish, of course, here became, very active negative opinions in all the social media. And in some cases, social media was, obviously, with a lot of false accounts from Latin America and Africa. So that's what we saw from our own experience. But what I would take from this, from this research, is really most important, what I would call takeaway. It's really clear evidence that there is a strong predictable link between coordination of algorithms and impact. And in my view, that changes a lot into how we understand, security threats and what we need to do. And, because in those cases, in my view, we can track signatures, trajectories, lead indicators like with cyber intrusion, but unlike cyber defense, in Europe for the time being we do not have any kind of very clear, capabilities what to do with that, and here I see that we need to really look for new ways of, of how we need to react. So, and my question mark to myself is very simple. Till now, we invested, quite a lot of our political capital and regulatory capital in trying to regulate platforms. And that's really important. But, in my view, regulation really addresses compliance, but not contest. And what we can see here really is that, all those hybrid information attacks, operations are very adaptive. They shift platforms, formats, communities faster than we can regulate. And, from here we need to make a very clear and simple conclusion that even perfectly enforced regulation would still leave us vulnerable. And, and from that point of view, it's clear that security requires in some way operational capabilities, not just only rules. And here you know much better, but I was very much impressed, and perhaps audience has much better knowledge of that. I was very much impressed when I was a few years ago still member of European Parliament, and we visited with special delegation Taiwan. And I saw exactly this operationalization on Taiwanese government side, how they are really able to defend rights and rights of their people against permanent hybrid information warfare from mainland China. So I would not elaborate on that, but in my view, what is here very important, what we saw in Taiwan. Speed of reaction matters more than perfection. Denial of momentum in such a defense matters more than takedowns. Resilience of society is treated as a defense asset, not as a byproduct. And here, really is what we need to understand. We need really to look into policy choices, not just education and cultural development. So here are really very clear takeaways what we need to make as conclusions from those from that research. Definitely we need to see it as a real hybrid threat, not just a problem of online safety or public communication. We need a permanent cross-platform narrative monitoring capability designed for early detection of coordination, not just post hoc analysis what had happened. And definitely detection must be linked to authority. There is a need of actions. Not just not just, let's say, some kind of general general attitude to what is happening. So I would end with very simple comparison. We as Europeans would never accept a situation when hostile aircraft or drone could enter our airspace undetected for days. But today, coordinated narrative operations can move through our information environment, shape perceptions, and influence political outcomes, and influence our political defense readiness without triggering any comparable alert or response. So that is clear message from this research. Maybe I will not promise that we shall, immediately resolve all the problems, but this is a really very clear warning signal, which is showing what our adversaries are doing, but also is showing that we can detect that. And if we can detect, we need to find a way how to react in a proper way.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kubilius, and thank you so much for your comment, which is also the perfect segue to the next speaker. You talked, or you rightly raised the important point that security requires operational capability, and we talked a lot about well, let's say, the surface of algorithmic propaganda. But now I'd like to highlight also the question we also should take attention on the, let's say, on the backbone of algorithm. And if AI is used to generate deepfakes, amplify narratives, and manipulate perception, then defense must be also AI-driven. And here, Guy Liang from Singapore comes in with, as a founder of Embedded LLM. You're working on a new generation on large language models. You just launched the AI Grid for Europe by accident in the capital where the commissioner is coming from Vilnius.
Yes.
And so we are very keen to listen how do we bridge defending or tackling the disease of algorithmic propaganda with, let's say, value-based LLMs? Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So thank you, Commissioner Kubilius, all our Lithuanian partners in the room. So we have Edvinas Kerza from Skillwolf in the room. We launched in Telecentras, January 22nd. And of course, a very powerful presentation from RepSense. And thank you, Mr. Oettinger and also Oliver, so for giving us all this opportunity in this Munich Cybersecurity Conference to share some ideas that how we embedded LLM from Singapore. And actually, we have a team in Singapore, Taiwan, currently now live in Vilnius, Lithuania as well. How we can help to build a genuine sovereign AI grid, the capability of this AI grid for Europe. So I think one very important thing that happened last week was the release of Financial Times saying that Ukraine is going to have an election, and then later on retracted. So it's actually a huge blow because this is coming from a major media. And to think about that, I think in the past couple of years, we all been talking about who can we believe in. But I think now we are graduated into what else can we believe in, right? And this is, with the age of AI coming along, all these exponential AI bots. If you have seen what OpenClaw has been doing with all the Claw bots, deepfakes and also panic is easily triggered. And if AI actually is not controlled on or detected or even like traced, this will actually undermine the confidence in economy and also society. In fact, if we have a saying in Singapore, what if one of the AI started to say that Singapore dollar is going to depreciate in the next couple of months, then people will, even 2 to 5% of the society believe in that, and the currency will start dropping because people will throw, right? So in fact, I think we all, including the populations of European Union here, right, will be so tired of analyzing what is real anymore. And this will we simply turn off the internet, right? So when we don't want to actually know, when we start not to know, we say like, this is enough, I don't want to know, then I think enemy has it in their pockets because that means that they win. So I want to share some kind of like the information in this room because our team has been working on AI since 2010, before AI is a thing, right? That time we started deep learning in 2013-14. That time very first NVIDIA GPU clusters at that time that we built. We found that actually AI is not just the thing because everyone is focusing on LLM and data, right? But everyone is trying to red teaming the AI weights. They're trying to test the AI whether it would say something wrong. But in fact, large language model and AI is a fundamentally very different technology because it can emulate different personas. You can just change the system prompt. And this is actually a new attack vector in LLM because context poisoning, if someone tried to put inside some context poisoning of some part, and it's ephemeral because it goes inside the RAM and then it's gone. And suddenly this AI, in inferencing time, it lost its cognitive integrity, especially in multi-tenant environment where people share GPUs and the LLM models hosting. So actually, to be honest, there's a looming fear inside us as we look at cybersecurity. There might be, if not bigger, specter and meltdown of AI, because you can actually context hack and context poison all these AI agents, no matter how good you train them to be. So this is actually a call to action. So we are all in this together, right? So security is not just an ecosystem, it's a trust protocol. And in the era of psychological operations performed by hostile actors, well, thousands, if not tens of thousands and millions of AI bots in the coming future, we actually need a fundamental capability to identify, anticipate, and actually take down these hostile AI agents. Now, we are part of the community of trust. So Singapore, Taiwan, Malaysia, India, now from Vilnius, we have this base in Lithuania. We trust each other in the digital space of defense, but we believe that European AI leadership is the way to go, because European has this very unique way of establishing a single market, certain standards that you are doing. So you guys believe in security protocol. This is a direct word of confidence from the regions that we believe that system and standards for human in EU is actually the way to go, and why not for AI? So we need leaders, and we need a global protocol. And on this journey from Telecentra's tower, so the symbol of freedom in Lithuania, so I hereby actually call everyone in this room to start looking at how we can build this a truly sovereign AI grid capability that will deter AI aggressors, enable advancement of productivity at the same time, and this is perhaps AI grid is the only chance of Europe to prevail in this AI-enabled information warfare. And we can rise and prosper together at the same time.